And if you die,
Dire
all of
team
your
back.
cooldowns get refreshed. So
Ultra
as long as you get off
Magi!
Magic Missile, Swap, Wave of Terror, they're just back up straight away again. So I feel like it's just way too much being provided for one item. And yeah, very balanced. Good job, Iceman.
Very, very cool concept.
10
As
seconds remaining.
well as RNG get to feel the power
RNG
flowing through their veins
banned.
with Avenge picked up. They're even going to make sure they ban out the Shadow Fiend. They feel like that combo together is incredibly formidable. I feel like for Elephant this time, I mean, FI maybe we'll see the Monkey King, but I feel like it will more than likely be played for Eurus, so a lot of priority here for them.
10
Were you
seconds remaining.
impressed overall with Felix's Monkey King performance? Like, did you like the 4
5
last game from it?
seconds remaining.
I think he didn't do too much wrong at all. I mean, the only like maybe he was a little squishy.
RNG's time to ban.
He also went the Orb of Corrosion when you already had it on Flyby, which I thought was a little off,
Dire
but
team
I feel
back.
like the Gleipnir pickup is totally fine. You
RNG's
know, you're going to be
turn
able to
to
lock in
ban.
these heroes like the Phoenix that needs a little bit of that extra mobility.
RNG's
Same
turn
sort
to
of thing
pick.
with Eurus, right? All you really want is people staying in position so
Dire
that you can
team
get
pick.
off the Blood Rite, the Sonic Wave, the Rolling Thunder. So I felt like his game was pretty good, and he provided so much vision where they were able to catch out the likes of Somnus multiple times. So not too much that you could fault with it. I would have preferred probably that it was played in a position
10
one role just so
seconds
that you could
remaining.
dominate that Vengeful Spirit lane and make sure it doesn't get to that
5
that
seconds
critical
remaining.
point. And we're getting an IO here. So I mean, multiple ways to save, multiple ways to have like having an IO is like having 1.5 lives basically, right? Because you're just survivable either by being brought back to the fountain or just that much tankier simply through the tether and any kind of heals that you're able to provide.
And it's really nice now as well because you've got 2 ways to enable your Leshrac to use all his mana pool. A hero that really relies, that's where his damage comes from. You want to deplete your mana pool, get all that damage out. The big issue is getting bursted down before he can do that. So IO Venge to enable. They're probably going to look for a core pairing with the IO. And that's where the AA can come into play with the Tiny. Man, this is a really, really cool pick from Elephant.
Man, these are quick picks, you know, just bam, 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 back to back. I mean, are they literally going all in on just like keeping this Lesh alive? Like, is this an offlane Weaver where you've got
10 seconds
an Aghanim
remaining.
Scepter as the build?
That
5
doesn't work
seconds
against Ice
remaining.
Blast, right?
No, but still, you're going to have a lot of movement speed as a Lesh, just inherently. Plus, you're going to have things like, you know, a Yule Scepter and everything else to buff you up, plus an IO tethering you.
It'd be
So
very...
Elephant, they're clearly focusing on burst, right? Tiny burst, Ogre, pretty decent
RNG's
burst,
turn
AA
to
burst,
Dire team
Boundless
back.
Strike, good amount of burst as well. So what could they be looking for to kind of round this out and prevent any sort of repositioning? Maybe a Pango still yet to come.
Are we talking about RNG, sorry?
I'm talking about Elephant.
10
Sure.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, we're looking
RNG's
for...
turn
They want to wait a
Dire
gap
team
close.
pick.
They just have Tiny at the moment. They need another stun set up for the AA. So DK Slider banned, Beast gone as well. I don't think you can opt for like a Legion. Axe might get bursted down too easily.
Pango.
10 seconds remaining.
So it's a Pango AA lane.
5 seconds
I really
remaining.
want Tiny to be a 2. I feel like this hero is... I feel like you're all on the back of this game of going for burst, and I think Tiny can provide that if you give him the core role. So going for an initiator on Yang, and I like the Pango call. Gives you a little bit more team fight control. You can kind of cut the fight in half and push back the IO and Venge potentially if they're not in a position. That
Not bad.
makes it even easier and give... Ooh, this is a great pick. That gives you even better vision advantage to set up for your pickoffs. An easier way to cut the fight in half. I was saying Pango could do that. This is now much easier with the Night Stalker.
You talked about how
10
Lesh just wants to be able to get
remaining.
his full mana pool off and how an IO makes that easier. This could be... Okay, I was about to say this could be the mid lane being picked up now for RNG, just because I feel like... Alright, so it's an IO paired together with a Venge for the laning stage, just to make sure that the Venge is able to get the farm that he needs, And then you've got a 5 Venomancer, love it, Red Panda, by the way, going into a Night Stalker, which is going to make him have a hard-ish time. And then a Weaver, of course, is, once the game moves on, you are susceptible to being ganked, for sure. But in the laning stage, I feel like he should have an okay time. And then, I mean, you got decent armor on the Lesh as well. It's not like a Puck Tiny matchup where you have the tree grab being able to deal a good amount of damage to yourself. What are you've got a little bit of a not like this face.
This is like
what's happening?
70-30 outdraft, maybe even a bit higher. I'm just being cautious because I know there's a possibility for RNG to win this game in like 26 minutes, and I'm going to get obliterated by chat. So, being cautious on what I'm saying. I was going to say like 80-20.
It's a guaranteed elephant victory.
Look, I really, really don't like this 5 range lineup. I don't know how they team fight. Like, how do you start fights? So, which
Lesh.
means you have, okay, Lesh is going to get blown up. You don't
know.
Okay, you have an AA. What do you mean?
You do.
You have this Ice Blast. What are you talking? Like,
you
it
swap
doesn't
them
work.
out, baby, and you look to repeat.
Like,
Rinse and repeat. Dodge the Ice Blast. Have presence of mind to know when that big ice ball is coming.
You don't start fights. You've got a really squish. Like, you have all. Who's gonna tank? Like, maybe if the Venom was 3, who could go utility. So now Flyby needs to have a stellar lane to go Ags and something afterwards to be just tanky, but this Night Stalker gives them everything they needed. Vision to set up for picking off the Io or the Venge, before the Aghanims. So it enables your pick-off potential. It can help you cut the fight in half, which is what the saving supports really don't want. It's also great control against the Weaver. And, I mean, what better pairing? We don't see a lot of AA and Tiny, but them together has a ridiculous amount of magic damage. Also, you've got a Monkey Ogre lane. That's super difficult to beat. Like,
30 seconds.
But how about the Veno against 3 melee cores, though?
Yes, that's a good point. It's a position 5 Veno, though. Like, how do you feel like? Do you feel like he needs?
Team fights is press R.
So
right?
okay,
like,
so it doesn't need like
basically
any
don't
items. You're happy with like just a little bit of levels, and you'll still feel the impact. Like, what has been your experience when you've been playing the 5 Veno?
Yeah, all you really need is levels. Like, going into an urn, I think that's totally value, especially against something like a Monkey King who relies decently on his lifesteal. He's just looking to go into the fluffy hats, maybe a 4-staff. It'll be pretty effective this game. And then once you've picked up a 4-staff, I feel like the item that you go after that, in this game in particular, is the Aghanim Shard, just because it allows you to play a little bit more on the backlines until you really do want to start taking that team fight. And, having that potential to still impact, force out BKBs or the like super early on. And then when those BKBs are expired, that's when you 4-staff in, get your ultimate off, and try and take him out in that way.
Well, a good start, at least getting 3 bounties from RNG. I feel like this bottom lane is going to be difficult for Yang. And I think RNG need to snowball this game. I'm very worried late game how they can match up into it. So I think they're trying to steamroll over Elephant and just slow down the itemization and mean that they're just like Night Stalker playing from behind is not great at all. And the way to put him in that position is punishing the first 5 minutes, and I think an Ancient Apparition as a laning support isn't the greatest as well to enable the Night Stalker at his weakest stage. So I think this might be the opportunity. As Felix, is he actually dead up top?
Just be careful, already having to pop that salve. I mean, you say that it's not the greatest laning support, right? But I think Super should be fine. He's got like more than a 200 attack range advantage over the Venomancer. And the Weaver as well, actually. And that's not even with Chilling Touch taken into the equation. So I feel like he's going to be able to harass them out fairly easily, even just having the attack damage advantage over Red Panda. So anytime he comes forward and tries to get that Poison Sting ticking in onto Yang, it should be on Super to try and harass him out as quickly as possible. Speaking of him, he's looking for the TP. That was so close, man. Forced to pop the Fairy Fire underneath the tower.
Man, D-Stone
shouldn't have let him get that close. Getting low mid lane.
Yeah, my lord. Oh, there is a lot of aggression in all our lanes at the moment. Top
Yang
Elephant
dived a little bit here.
Yang. Is he gonna go for a God King? No, he's passive at the moment. He knows his strengths and weaknesses, knows when to push the boundaries and when not to.
Does he? We've seen plenty of times that
that's a good
sometimes he can get a
question.
little bit keen.
Now he pounces. Maybe they
Who's
pounce on
pouncing
Red
on who, though?
Panda. It's fallen very low on
Red
the
Panda's not
Venomancer.
known for their pouncing abilities.
No, their interesting drop bear potential. But yeah. How's top going? We got a little bit of break. Flyby and Felix, 5 last hits at the moment on the Venge. So of course, man, it always happens. You just have to do it. I turn away from the lane. You finally get first blood. Like it's always what happens.
It was God King diving, you know, it happens. They nearly got the double kill onto Super as well, needing to pop the second fairy fire, which I believe he just ferried out to himself, so... And is he gonna kill himself?
Oh, Flyby is gonna kill himself at least. Nice cut off from FY and paired up with Eurus's Monkey King. It's a very strong combo. You're already 2 points in Ignite from FY at level 3 at the moment, and... See, he's got a bit of mana issues, but with the Mango and Stick coming out soon, it should definitely replenish his resources.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I wanted to happen last game, right? Like, Monkey King plus Ogre is such a potent lane, especially when you don't have, you know, the... Like, Io's a bit of a defensive support, but he can't dispel anything, you know? And it just means that if Flyby's bad with his positioning, then he's going to get punished. At least you have the extra movement speed, I suppose, with the tether, so it's going to be... somewhat more difficult to be able to take him out as well. Yeah, they're going to make an attempt again here.
Tonight. No. Oh, very nicely done. Back up the top lane is Felix. Already used the Boundless. Can Eurus close the distance, however? Looks like they won't get that little bit of damage.
Bit of a misplay actually coming out from Elephant there. They layered the stuns, so the Fire Blast and the Boundless Strike used at the same time. Bot lane, God King dives again. Did you catch that one?
No. No, I did not. No. Mid's looking pretty good at the moment from Somnus up against D-Stones. He's only got 1 point in Edict, so started with the 202 build to put a lot more pressure in.
A little deep here.
I'm making sure I don't... Okay. So these side lanes, all the aggressive fronts at the moment. How do you feel like mid's gonna then impact the side lanes? Are we gonna see rotations out of the Tiny or Lesh, or does one of these heroes want to kind of stick in the lane?
I think both of them want to stick in the lane, honestly. Lesh because of tower taking potential, Tiny because Lesh is going to take his towers if he leaves the lane. Basically the only time that he can potentially go for it.
Hit. Oh my god. Need that little bit of life still. Now FI is trying to win the man fight. He's got a fairy fire. Is he going to pop it off? No. Oh, sorry, it's not even fairy. It was the Orb of Venom. It looked like it. Oh.
Felix, with the... You almost never see support IOs level up the spirits these days, super early on, and just choosing to do it as soon as he hit onto that level 4, enabling him to get that kill, and make sure that flybys continue to farm in this lane. I really respect that, and like that he's not just going for some cookie-cutter build, he realizes the strengths of the early game.
Dire's middle tower.
Both the...
Yeah, maybe if Tiny gets a haste, then he could make a move towards another sort of lane, but you can just see what happens even if he goes off and tries to take like one of these small camps. It's an arcane rune, all right, that's pretty value for Somnus to be able to pick up. Still though, he's going to need to play around his
top lane again. Flyby's in trouble. This time Eurus will be able to find the Jingu stacks to man fight over the Venge, and it's 2 deaths now stacked up here for Flyby.
Still though, it feels like he's got a decent amount out of the lane. Probably not expected considering how strong of an elephant lane this is. And now with FY actually hitting onto level 4, it becomes even easier. You know, you've had the power treads completed on Eurus, so he's got that extra movement speed and attack speed as well. And with just the 1 point in the Bloodlust, it's such a value point, especially for this lane. Yang, it's nighttime. I wonder if he'll be able to get away from this. Gale connecting onto him. Another kill.
They're even actually tipping Somnus in. The slow from Supers should be enough to claim the kill, and yeah, allow Somnus to... Wait, it's not a lot of damage as I was expecting. Only 1 point in the toss. So very low level. But the big issue is that he TP'd away from mid. So now D-Stones with 2 points in Edict, and they don't have Glyph to protect the T1 tower as well. So the answer and the call has to come through from Yang.
He's the only one that could TP at the time, and yeah, you just cannot leave. It sucks, but that's the price that you have to pay when you're going up against this Lesh lane. And they knew, like, Elephant are pretty decent Lesh pickers in their own right. They're going to maybe try and get the kill here onto Yang, but with the movement speed from the nighttime, even with that Gale onto him, he should be okay.
Is there any lanes that you were expecting to go worse than what they have so far?
I thought Tiny might have had a bit more difficulty, but he's way in front on net worth. Somnus is going to be able to get a decently early Blink Dagger here, although that cut tree does reveal the fact that he's making a bit of a gank attempt onto Red Panda. He's got the urn ready, so I'm sure he's making the calls of, team, look, let's try and back me up here. If we can get those urns start to tick, then we're in a really good spot to keep the pressure up onto Elephant.
So close to death. D-Stone's gonna rotate through. Felix will join him. Looks like they'll only get the courier, but that was the Oblivion staff, so I guess she'll take it. Down for a minute 30.
He's just going to stick with Flyby for now. Again, it's just about getting him out of this laning stage without being in too bad of a position. And, you know, the fact that you're ahead of the Night Stalker at this point, you're fairly happy with that. But you do have to consider, when is Felix going to move over and start to try and assist the Leshrac a little bit more? You know, is it going to be around these mid skirmishes that, well, Somnus is going to try and prevent more and more? Still feels so hard to do it though.
It does seem like though both the top lane.
Going on a kill top. Yang's here.
Poor old Felix. No escape. They might even cut off the retreat from Flyby. They need to make sure they hold the void until the extra reinforcements come on over. It looks like they've blocked off the retreat. Now we can use the abilities to bring down the Venturous Spirit. What are we up to? 3 deaths here from Flyby. I was just going to say both the offlaners having a bit of a more difficult start in this second game, as Yang's also on 3 deaths, about 600 behind in net worth compared to his counterpart, but he's going to look to try and swing that into his favor a little bit with getting involved here for the kill on the Venomancer.
I really like that movement. You know, they just used Yang. He, like you said, hasn't had the greatest start to the game, but he had the lingering effects of the Dark Ascension. And are they going to be putting Somnus in a bit of a risky spot here around the bot room? Nope, backing off just in time. That Haste Rune, man, he would have loved to be able to pick that one up so he can continue to put pressure on the side lanes. But yeah, just using the vision of the Dark Ascension, not even necessarily wanting the extra damage component, allowing them to get an extra kill, and that's enough to enable Somnus to have that Blink Dagger available. It's a little short on mana though. That's the only downside here. So I don't know if they'll have the damage to be able to take out this Falcon Blade carrying Weaver.
I can just feel the pain in your voice just every time you say Falcon Blade. Mid lane, Flyby. Looking like a swap back into Missile to set up for D-Stones. They're going to have to also join with the relocate, Eurus. There's no way to keep them inside the Wukongs, and now unfortunate for Eurus. Maybe he can just look for a TP out. Oh, D-Stone's just the nick of time. He's got the answer. There's the great placement. He's able to quickly drop down that split earth and now chase on forward for more thanks to the haste rune. Triple for your Leshrac.
Able to get out. Yep, that haste rune coming in clutch. I really do like that rotation as well, coming from Elephant with the Tiny and the AA. You know, all you need is the Ice Vortex, right? And basically anyone dies at this stage.
There's big issues right now for RNG. The fact that Somnus is top of the net worth, 4-0-1, and he's got Blink already completed. He's just going to look to play with Super. Ice Blast in 5. Why not stick around on Elephant? They can 1000% burst anyone that shows here.
Yeah, they're just waiting for a little bit more mana on Tiny. And they know that he's waiting there because of this Observer Ward. So they're kind of... They're getting out of there in pretty quick fashion. Super just trying to act a little bit of the bait. You could even see the scan. They don't know that RNG know exactly what they're doing.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And with that information, it means that Flyby, he's able to just sit up on the top side.
Oh, mid lane, they're onto the Leshrac here. D-Stones is bursted down. And that was without the Ice Blast, man. They are doing a lot of damage with Somnus's early levels.
Mm-hmm. It's doing a great job. Probably one of the better neutral items that you can get as well as a Tiny, the Tumblr's Toy, that extra 200 mana. onto super. Okay, so that does prevent a lot of their burst potential. Yang, he's looking
Radiant's
to, again,
courier
use the
has
last
been
couple of
killed.
seconds of that Dark Ascension just for a little bit of
Radiant's
extra
bottom
information.
tower is
Spot where the
back.
action is though. Flyby. He's got some assistance coming through with the relocate, and so instantly Monkey King's gonna dip out. He's like, "Bye, you can eat the rotations. I'll make sure I hold my life."
Eurus, he's up here having to defend against a pretty decent wave, so not wanting to let all of that experience fall away from him, but he's 2 levels behind the Weaver at the moment, so God King really taking advantage of those early kills that he was able to net for himself.
Dire's
Another
middle
one for
tower-
Somnus as
Dire's
well.
middle tower has fallen.
Dude, the tumbless toy is so wonky. The animation,
dagger?
and yeah, the
Radiant's
boink
bottom
dagger.
tower
I
is
mean,
under attack.
rest in peace, Faded Brooch, but Tiny's gonna love that 200 mana, like you were saying. He's now 5-0-2, and this is gonna mean that Radiant have to itemize to tank up, and you see Weaver's going down that route. He's got the Dragonlance as his next item of choice. He went the 9 strength as
Radiant's
well,
bottom
talent-wise,
tower is
and
under
well, for
attack.
these stones,
Radiant's
he's
bottom
also
tower
building
has
into the
fallen.
Eternal Shroud, so well aware that the magical burst is something that they have to itemize for.
Yeah, of course, and you know, there's 2 ways to do that. Like you mentioned, the Eternal Shroud or just raw HP. So I feel like it's good counter itemization coming out from God King. And of course, you can eventually even build that Dragon's Lance into a
Radiant are
BKB.
scanning.
So a little bit of extra bonuses as well. It's something that you absolutely need against this Tiny. You can, oh, they're going to catch out Eurus here. He's going to be able to dodge away just in time. You could pop the BKB between the
Radiant's
procs of the
bottom
Avalanche,
tower
which is
is
nice,
under
little bit of
attack.
extra value. But of course, if you're caught underneath the Night Stalker's Crippling Fear, it's something that you don't want to just sit there and take.
Well, feels like, again, I'm like curious on how Radiant can start these fights, because Yang is a very, very long way away from Aghanims and almost bursted through God King. I think that was Somnus and Super, the combination. Now they're going to be the under assault here from God King. Super going for a quick heads up TP, and he's able to make it. Now it puts Felix and God King in a compromised position. They've got the outpost control, so the TPs are coming through, but they're able to cancel the relocate fast enough. So now God King, can they target him down? They know the time lapse is on the cooldown. The long duration silence is not enough, in fact. So God King is out to safety, but they're just going to try and turn. Aim down the left track. There's no assistance to keep him alive. God King's still alive. No, Somnus. He'll find him with the tree toss at 3-for-1. They'll finally clean off Eurus. Red Panda is trying to solo through Yang as well. Will be able to kill him off in the end, but it'll cost him his life.
They tried to go for the deny there right towards the end, but yeah, you're still at the stage where you're getting burst down, right? The plus side is that Flyby didn't die. He's got the second component now for his Aghanims. Previously, we saw that when Yang picked it up, he went for the Blade of Alacrity first, just wanting to enable his farm a lot quicker. But again, right now, all it is being able to survive the initial burst that Elephants are able to put out so that you can have that turnaround potential. So with the point booster and the Ogre Axe, that's going to enable Flyby to have the greatest potential to survive.
Oh, Eurus.
So close.
Ooh. He's not farming too well on the Monkey King. Yeah, we've seen a lot of the China's Monkey get a ridiculous amount of farm through the early game, but he's having a bit more of a slower time, still waiting for the Maelstrom to be completed here, which will definitely at least ramp up the steroid that he's needing.
And you just compare it to a Tiny, right? Like, he's got inbuilt splash damage, so he's always going to be able to farm at a decent rate. He's got the Echo Saber as well, effective both for farming as well as team fighting.
Radiant's
Going into the
bottom
Shadow
tower
Blade,
is
so
under attack.
it's very clear that the MO for Elephant is bursting down the squishy backlines before they're able to get off their key abilities. Holy Locket picked up here for Felix. Nice little bit of value there.
Have you seen the itemization for Ogre as well? FY is going to be working into a Midas this game. Hater.
Don't know how much of a fan of that I am, right? Because
Hater.
they've been doing a really good job at keeping the pressure up onto this Vengeful Spirit, but I feel like that's a little passive.
Radiant's
Like, you
bottom
might say, oh,
tower
it's
is
going
under
to secure the
attack.
late game when Venge eventually does get her Ags. But, I mean, I feel like potentially they should have been the ones to try and take this first Roach. And you just can't do that because of how much gold you've invested into an ogre, which realistically isn't going to be used for much of anything.
Well, that was a gigantic ice blast. Fortunately, it's not going to net them anything as, well, here we go. I feel like the ball up is going to start to occur from RNG with the Aegis claim from D-Stones, and they're going to try and start to accumulate some of the real estate across the map, and we'll see if Dire, if they feel like they're in a position to contest, or if they just kind of have to get out of dodge and farm up.
900 gold away for Flyby until he is Mr. OP.
Dope. Cool hero. And we're going to be seeing that even more. Oh, he went for the magic resistance.
Dyer's top
What did...
I don't hate it.
I definitely don't
this
hate
lineup,
it. Yeah,
right?
I'm just trying to think. What did Yang go last game? Tigger Agi for farming?
I think he didn't level it up for quite a while, actually.
Sure. But yeah, we've been saying like you need to just be survivable. So magic resistance is going to be great in that regard. They're coming over. Smoked themselves up. Looking to try and... Yeah. They're outie. No contention.
Alright, Red Panda has been able to finish up his Spirit Vessel, so that's definitely going to help against the Monkey King when he's trying to man fight. Still a fair away from his BKB, but no charges at the moment, so they're going to want to try and catch one of these squishier supports in the meantime.
And
it's going to have to be super.
Like RNG feel like they're all off the back of... It's either a swap into Split Earth, or it's just a elephant overcommittal, and then you pounce with like a Poison Nova, then Lesh can just go to town in this close proximity. But apart from that, like elephant, they have to be super cautious on what fights they want to take, because you cannot overcommit. You will be penalized.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're posturing really aggressively around this top side, but again, like, Flyby is 350 gold away from his Ags. Like, just let the man get his Ags, get him his busted item. He's level 12, so the swap now has the extra cast range, 40% damage reduction. Like, why wouldn't you, essentially, is the question here. And, well, the fact that he's the furthest one forward on his team is a little ballsy move from him. Even D-Stone's not caring. There we go. Eventually gives him a little bit of the farm. 200 gold. As soon as he picks it up, just look for them to ball up and just trying to make stuff happen. Regen rune. Lesh will very happily take that.
Yeah.
So what else do we got out here? Red Panda. I mean, this is what you can do as a Venomancer, right? Like, you're on the front lines, so you could potentially be taking up some smoke ganks. You're keeping the tower pushed in, so they're going to have to respond to it in some way. Sure, they might kill you, but that's more space for the likes of a Avenge to farm. Well, you can tell that they can see him, so that's a little bit of information that you've been able to gather as well. And yeah, just continue to stay up on this top side without a care in the world.
Yang. He's got Eurus behind him. He's actually going to pop the Dark Ascension. They'll look to try and burst through the IO. It's a lot of the assistance for the Weaver to take him up and also provide the damage for God King. But they can't catch now FY in the middle lane. So it looks like multiple supports from either team is going to be falling across the map. FY and along with Felix would be the consequence. So that is a big ultimate though in the Dark Ascension. I wonder if RNG now, knowing this is on cooldown, might look to start to take some objectives.
I think they absolutely will. You know, no Dark Ascension. They were able to get a kill onto a support, so now the Venomancer has the Spirit Vessel, and of course you've got the Venge Ags as well on top of that. No one defending this tower. They do pop the glyph, so especially with that siege creep there, incredibly important. Don't think they have any sort of way to interrupt this TP away from Yang, so wisely done by him.
Dire's middle tower has
Alright,
fallen.
well,
Why not?
Radiant's top tower
are
is
you
under attack.
hoping they got more out of the Aegis though? Like 40 seconds left. I think they're only going to get a tier 2 out of it.
They'll probably get the tier 1 bot as well.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't even see that till there. Okay, so tier 2, tier 1.
Dire's bottom tower is
Gold
under
has
attack.
not really gone up since they've had... actually, no. Yeah, it's gone up a little bit. Probably about
Radiant's
2
top
grand
tower
at the end of
is
it all.
under
So
Dire's bottom tower
I guess
has fallen.
inject of gold to maybe find this next set of items here. They are looking to still continue to tank up. Leshrak with the Sunjin Kaya. Weaver is going to go the Hurricane Pike next as well. So yeah, they're all on board. They're well aware that they have to survive through the initial burst, and then maybe they can go off the back of that.
They've got complete vision of all of Elephant's heroes, the bugs connecting onto 2. I think they could even look to continue this push. Like, even though Aegis is gone, they should know the cooldown on Dark Ascension still 30 seconds away. It's daytime for a good portion, and you've got the Diabolic
Dire
Edict, of
are
course, on
scanning.
the Leshrac, and we haven't even felt the effectiveness of this Ag Scepter. He's got the Quicksilver Amulet as well, so he is going to be almost uncatchable as soon as he dies.
They did smoke underneath an Observer Ward from Radiant, so them looking to connect to top is going to be for naught. Maybe they can get the outpost, but what do we want FY to go for? You know, he's got a little bit of luxury this game with the Midas. Let's kind of get crazy. What do you want his itemization to be?
Radiant are scanning.
Sheepstick, maybe?
Alright, I dig it.
For hitting onto multiple, you know, if you can catch an IO next to someone else, it's probably going to be just 2 heroes immediately caught out.
Yeah, I'd like that a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see, because did he disassemble? Yep. So BKB on the Night Stalker. Bunky's got his
Radiant's
own.
bottom tower is under
Tiny
attack.
is not queuing up a BKB,
Dire's
so he's
top tower
still
is
looking to
under attack.
heavily commit into the burst potential. And well, Radiant, even though there's a lot of magical damage, they're still just looking to tank up in other areas. And well, at the moment, it's showing with how they're able to continue to take some of the objectives. Dire feel like they're at a stage where they can just continue to look to out-farm the map, and then, you know, they feel like as the game goes later and later, that's where they can really start to shine.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Sure, but RNG, they have a few big timings picked up for themselves as well. Like, we've got a Hurricane Pike now on the Weaver, you've got a 4-staff on the
Radiant's
Venomancer,
middle tower is
Felix
under
is building into a 4-staff
Dire's
himself, so
top tower
it's very
is
clear
under
that they're
attack.
just looking to avoid a lot of these pickoffs to prevent the effectiveness of the Night Stalker, so that, you know, even if a Venomancer, for example, gets gone on, 2 4-staffs away, he gets off his ultimate,
Radiant's bottom
he's done his
tower
job.
is under attack. Dire's top tower is
Dire,
fallen.
they're going to be happy though with at least taking this tier 2. Now they can open up some of the outposts and get at least some experience back in their favor.
Radiant's bottom tower has
Immediately
fallen.
getting pinged out as well as FY and Super look to take it back. What is the experience graph looking like? Well, it's already favoring Elephant, actually. I guess RNG have been grouping up a fair amount.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's
They're gonna
bottom
smoke.
tower is under
As soon as
attack.
nighttime hits, Elephant, and when they're more powerful, question is who can they find? Right, run into God King. They're looking to connect with the rest of the team to the top side of the map, where Radiant have a powerful circle of control by the outpost. They need to clump around the vision in a spot where they can pop the smoke. They will be able to do so, but to jump in, Somnus instantly looking to try and bring down the Venomancer, Red Panda, and able to get the ultimate off, and now they can target through Somnus. He's overcommitted here for the fight, and Tiny will be penalized. But meanwhile, Yang as well. I mean, he's going to target the Veno, but you've already got your ulti off. You're happy with that. You've wasted BKB, you wasted Dark Ascension, you kill Somnus as Tiny, which is a big killing streak, 578 gold to the Weaver. RNG, they're gritting right now with that fight.
Yeah, they're absolutely happy with that. You know, losing just one hero in a support when he's able to kill off.
Oh,
the
hold that thought,
enemy.
God King. It's just going to run straight to Super. That's a bizarre positioning from your Ancient Apparition. Now with the high ground, Euro's going to look to turn, but I don't think he can 4v1 here. A BKB into the TP out. They've got the answer. Maybe get the tree dance off. They're a little bit away from him. Wave of Terror can't go through the BKB, so Eurus lucky that he still makes it out there, but another little bit of gold being injected into RNG, and now Roche is up.
Pretty early Roche coming through as well with a short swap coming through. The pings come out. Do we have any minus armor at the moment other than the Wave of Terror? Don't think so. No Desolator picked up for the Weaver. He's opting to go all into the Orb effects, just so that when he does pick up that Aghanim Shard, it's going to give a good amount of value through to him. It's going to be a lot easier to get a lot of those procs off as well, considering you do have the Venomancer, right? Tons of slows, tons of ways to be able to just survive that little bit easier.
Roshan
It is going to be God King that picks up both.
Radiant's bottom
Starting to build
tower
into the
is under
Skadi as well.
attack.
So I'm liking this overall by RNG. They're playing how they should be playing around Leshrac, you know, and the 4-staffs, like Chain 4-staff, takes away a lot of Elephant's team fight, and as well it kind of forces Eurus to pop his BKB whenever he uses the Wukongs, right? Like, you can't do them independently of each other, because if you don't, you're just going to get like triple force stuffed out of it, and then suddenly your ult is wasted.
Do you feel like Elephant are in the right mindset with trying to target down the Venom in that last fight? Like, are you wanting to get rid of this kind of really only big team fight hero they have on RNG?
I mean, I feel like they were just in a bit of a desperate situation.
Hold that thought, D-Stones. Great use of the Dark Ascension as well. They're going to get away the saving factor of the Vengeful Spirit on the backline, so they'll deal with the first life. But here comes a relocate of the backline. God King Felix going to try and cut out the supports, but the Wukong's instantly leads me. That D-Stones, he respawns into the potential of the Kings just to bring him down from full to 0. With the 2 against 1 now is, I mean, Weaver cannot stand his ground without the protection of the Io. He got sent back with the relocate. They're still going to try and target down with the illusion. They know what can happen with this pesky Venge Aghanim Scepter. And now once that's cleared off, they can deal with Felix, they can deal with Venomancer. D-Stone's even going to look to buy back, so Eurus is just going to instantly TP out. If they can get away with all their cores, they have to be so happy with forcing the buyback on D-Stones. And
FY,
oh no, the creeps is going to give him away. Oh no, the play cord. Wait, he's still got spider legs?
Back to the impurity.
Still though, I mean, I feel like you're pretty happy with that, considering D-Stones had to buy back. Again, this is the way that a Night Stalker needs to be played. I thought Yang played his role to perfection. He just got in onto Red Panda. He was, onto the Vengeful Spirit first, prevented any kind of swap plays, and the rest of the team all in onto D-Stones. Felix Chaba wasn't quite in the position needed to be able to save him. And yeah, that just meant that they were able to take him out back to back. And that's all you really needed. After that, I thought that Red Panda, the use of the poison over that time was not ideal. You know, he only used it onto the Night Stalker, which not really much point, right? Like, Night Stalker's done his job by taking Avenge out of the team fight. You need to make sure that that poison nova is landing onto multiple people, even if it means force-staffing yourself into the middle of a team fight. Now that it's level 2, the effectiveness is absolutely enormous on this Venom Ultimate. So, well, this is definitely going to help things. He's picked up a Ghost Scepter, incredible survivability compared to when you're going up against this Night Stalker. But just have a look at what Yang's already queued up. He realizes that Red Panda's going to respond in this way. Nullifier immediately queued up after that to be able to still burst through this Venom.
Give them that capability, and even the Shroud, what else? Some of the Force Staff. So yeah, multiple ways to deal with kind of the pesky defensive itemization that RNG are going for. They just need to survive this initial burst, like we've been saying. Honestly, it really feels like the game plan has really changed from Elephant. You know, might get a little bit more different as we had maybe 10 more minutes in with how they can kind of take a fight around a choke point with Wukongs and form a reinforced line to protect that and make sure no one can get out of the ring. But until then, it's still all on bursting down these squishy and very valuable heroes to the lineup.
And well, she's finished up her BKB, so a lot tankier. You can just see Somnus. He's continuing to try and play this rat style. They're pinging a little bit, saying, you know what, I feel like this Tiny could still be up here, but no, he's going to eventually TP back. Did they? I don't think they even had any vision of that kind of rotation, so just wanting to deal with the top side, I suppose, on Somnus. Get up onto his level 20.
Flyby didn't go the missile cooldown, which I'm surprised by, because I thought, like, late game you just...
Spam him out.
Yeah, like, and it's a lot of damage, man. What, 560 we said? Yeah, 560, and it'll get to a stage where it pierces spell immunity.
Especially since it's like a flat cooldown reduction, it's not like percentage based, so that's going to be amplified additively with the quickening charm.
Interesting. I mean,
Dire are scanning.
They've spotted Flyby. The pings come out with the smoke coming through. They're wanting to make sure they're wrapping around onto the side, not just running straight into anyone in case they might be kept in the trees. But now that the creep wave has gone down a little bit, Somnus is going to reveal himself in the lane.
Smoke on smoke. Flyby, Eurus,
Flyby
both
spotted
popping.
him.
Gang's going to charge up the Dark Ascension with the instant answer with the BKB. Flyby. Both teams haven't gotten the start to the fight they were looking for. With position 3s trading their magic immunity. But I guess it's Elephant that have used the bigger cooldown in the Dark Ascension. And they're looking now to reset their positioning and readjust how they want to take an angle into the fight.
Yeah, all RNG really need to do is wait, right? All you need, it's about 15 seconds left on the Dark Ascension, then it's going to be daytime for 2.5 minutes. And, well, I'm not sure if they can see what Yang is having in mind, but that Nullifier is still a fair ways away from coming online. So it's a big timing for them if they can take advantage of it. They're all going to push forward, take back the outpost. They want control over to their side of the map. And then it's just about pushing out these lanes, keeping the pressure on, keeping the tempo, push forward. You've got the Skadi available on God King. He's got the Shard. Now is his time.
Yeah, we haven't really spoken too much about the late game carry versus carry matchup between the Weaver and the Monkey King. Do you feel like God King can be the late game king that they need for him in this game, or is it going to be Eurus on the Monkey?
I don't think it's even just based on like the carry to carry matchup in a vacuum, right? Because
Radiant's
how do you
bottom
take care of a
tower is
Weaver
under attack.
if he's just allowed to freely move around? So it's going to be heavily based on, is the lockdown there from the Tiny, the Night Stalker, and the Ogre Magi? Because, you know, if the lockdown's not there, you could kite out a Monkey King endlessly, right? You need to stay there and fight as a Monkey King. The stun, while it's been buffed up in duration a little bit, is not going to be anywhere near enough to quickly burst down the likes of a Weaver, especially with the build that he's going for, right? Like, heavy stats, good status resist, tons of just pure HP.
Yeah, I bet they were hoping that FY would have had a lot more net worth than what he did. I mean, he's pretty much even with the Venomancer, and you were just highlighting the importance of potential lockdown from itemization, and you know, we're still not seeing any thought about the Hex at the moment. FY is wanting a Lotus Orb to maybe, you know, amplify some of his cores. The extra armor is going to be nice as well, and maybe after that is when you will think about a potential Hex.
Double damage picked up by Flyby. They're all gripped up again, but now, I mean, I feel like they've actually accomplished not much. I mean, they had a huge minute or so window, minute and a half, where they could have gotten aggressive, but I guess they just wanted to secure their next set of items. Hasn't been much of anything, though, here with Felix Chauba. He's got the Glimmer Cape queued up, but with all of this, let's call it patience, only 1,300 gold away from the Nullifier on Yang, only 15 seconds left on until nighttime. Dark Ascension available. It feels like they're just playing into Elephant's hands right now with waiting around for so long.
Tower is under
Even just taking away the top tier 1 tower so that when the Roche fight happens, it's the longest possible Roche respawn time, they're not going to as easily be able to buy back and TP in the reinforcements.
Oh, they're sick of waiting right now,
Dust.
RNG. Looking to try and smoke up and see who they can catch up, but again, this is just highlighting how do you start the fights. It's very difficult. Flyby might get the vision on Somnus. They're going to drop the ward a little bit too late, so Elephant dispersed from the area. They are a bit disconnected with without the Monkey King nearby, but are they going to jump Red Panda? The combination, but Flyby. Nick timing there. Somnus still going to pounce on full. They'll look to burst him through instantly, but now, you've got to deal with the Avenge Aura and the illusion that can now come into play. So Somnus, he drops the BKB for this. There was also Dark Ascension used as well, but they're all grouped up in the river. This is a difficult spot for RNG to disengage. As Jang a jump in will kill off the Metamancer, who's going to buy back instantly. Eurus, what an ultimate though, inside the choke point. They'll swap to get rid of it instantly. Now Eurus is going to attempt for a TP out. Do they have the damage to go through? They don't. Eurus just make it away, but it looks like God King, he's not going to let the supports have the same fate, as they'll chase through Super, they'll chase through FY as well.
And even just there, I think Felix Chauba broke his tether, and he's got the Aghanim Shard. So that was what was able to clean up a few of those heroes on the back end of that team fight. So nicely done. It still does cost them a couple of buybacks, though. And when you think about it, it's, multiple deaths, considering the Venge is still sitting on the sidelines. She's pushing out a little bit further, but in Red Panda, his positioning hasn't been fantastic, I have to say. And just a little bit late on the use of the Ghost Scepter as well. He didn't get value out of it.
Flyby. BKB again too late. It's actually might hold Somnus here with the swap. He's so fast as well, 450.
Yeah. I mean, he was positioning himself really aggressively. And now you've got the Nullifier on Yang, right? So this is going to be really difficult for RNG to fight into. They need to try and get onto this this IO in particular. Like Felix, he's got the Glimmer Cape, but it's not going to mean anything as long as Night Stalker's able to get in on top of you. They know that Poison Nova's been used. It's still 15 seconds away, I suppose.
Radiant cannot lose this ward on the high ground. If you give up this area, then Dai will have full control of Roche. Especially with nighttime, this is your really only opportunity where you can assert some dominance in the area. And oh, there goes that. So Dai's not there to at least get rid of the vision. They're all the way down bot. I would not be surprised if they swing on over. And, well, that's a big item. Refresher on the Monkey King is not even really 6-slot at the moment, but Eurus feels the value of the multiple BKBs and multiple Wukongs as well.
Yeah, for sure. He's even got the Spell Prism available in his backpack. He sends it over to Tiny, I believe. No, who did he give that to? He gave it to the Night Stalker. Oh, of course. Of course. He's nearly hit up onto his level 25. He's got the gem. There's no way for the RNG heroes to be able to contest into this NS.
This is big as well. Now, Dai, they just got the outpost control, so if a fight breaks out, they have the TP location.
Roche is up. What's it got? Axe.
Radiant still have incredible wards nearby, and Red Panda's just going to put his body on the line. You got to get rid of these wards. There's one gone. There's still two up to the northern side. With the Dark Ascension, Yang, he's hunting straight on top of the Venomancer. They're going to look to cut him out of the fight without the hope of the Poison Nova, and he bought back previously. So he's unable to rejoin RNG if a further fight breaks out by the Roche Pit. But what's going on throughout the river? Somnus, he's getting chased down. A BKB later on. Maybe the Skadi Slow can allow them to catch up, but they're in trouble now with the backline. Eurus gets a connection onto two with the Boundless Strike, locking them in. What a beautiful timing, the swap, but it's not going to matter. God King, he actually time-lapsed back into the middle. He's going to be careful with his positioning as Yang can gap close, but it's Somnus looking to do the dirty work. Another swap to safety. God King, he's going crazy here on the Weaver, looking to continue to man-fight Eurus, but it's not enough. Somnus, what a combination. 5 down, no buybacks.
No buybacks at all, and I feel like they kind of got a sense of that. You know, you would have seen the recent items coming out, the plate mail being finished up on the Leshrac, not doing all that much, and for me it's Yang. Yang is the one that is winning them this game, because the amount of times that he's just able to get it onto a support, make them feel completely useless with the use of that nullifier. He had the gem the entire time as well, so, you know, he did have to buy back, sure. It just felt like he was unstoppable. And, take this.
Take the null. Well, Lesh is up. Benno as well. Are they... Oh, wow. This one's not over.
All right.
Okay. I thought we were done and dusted here, but we're still sticking in strong. RNG, though, now down a full set of barracks and maybe even third Roshan as well.
It was the offering of the Null Talisman. That's what
they're like, okay. I understand. You know, we'll let you guys have an opportunity. It's a valuable offering. Maybe giving up this Roche is even better.
Who you give this to? Monkey? Yeah. I'm telling you, man, this Night Stalker, it just feels like you cannot do anything as a support to counter it. Like, you need to build a BKB against the Night Stalker, and then he can still deal with you, right? Like, he could just right-click you down.
And he's going for Overwhelming Blink, which I find interesting instead of the Arcane. I've seen like it feels like 70% Arcane Blink over the Overwhelming, but people are still putting some priority on it.
And since they're around, D-Stones, he's level 25, so he's got those extra Edict explosions, which is going to be real nice.
Maybe Yang actually is Red got the okay. Did Dai have a gem? Yeah, okay, they both do. Super and Red Panda. Maybe he doesn't want the Arcane just because he's got the Spell Prism, so maybe he can go for a different itemization.
A little bit of extra burst damage, right? Like, it feels like still Elephant's Draft. We saw that when they were eventually able to clean up God King on the back end of that fight. It's all about burst damage, catching him by surprise. This is so weird though, right? Like,
it's frightening.
You are terrified of this.
It's frightening. And
I mean, Hunter in the Night, crippling fear. words could not better describe how you feel as a support playing against this Night Stalker at this stage of the game.
They are very split right now. You've got to be group when you're against a Night Stalker like this. Nullify just gets rid of the defensive opportunity. But even better though, Flyby can protect them with the swap. Eurus. I think they see with that ward on the high ground from Radiant, so Eurus got to be really cautious and finally get rid of it.
This is big though. Now the swap cooldown, minus 15 seconds. So the level 20 talent, very value for this Venge. Going to have consistent multiple saves during all of these team fights with a quickening charm on top of that as well. So I feel like if anyone's going to win this game for RNG, it's going to be Flyby. And it's going to take a lot with a 24k net worth advantage. Only 7% chance Dota Plus is giving them. And it feels like this is a bit of a desperation play coming out with the Aghanim Shard on the Leshrac just to try and defend a little bit longer against this high ground offense. But look at the Tiny just ripped through.
Maybe a swap into Split Earth. And then...
It'd take a lot. BKB, Satanic.
Yeah.
You got a ton of survivability.
How else you start a fight? It's either that or you just hope Elephant overcommit. And you have a monkey with double Wukongs. Like this is the issue with late game Monkey King. You just drop your Wukongs down. He's level 25 now as well. So it's going to make it more difficult to swap him out of range of the ring. And you siege for free. It's...
Yeah.
Too difficult to go into, I feel like. I think you have to jump before they get set.
You do. You either need to catch them outside the base when they're split up, which Elephant, they're disciplined enough that they're not going to let that happen. And you can tell that God King is so desperately trying to get that level 25. You know, they're only having Flyby close enough for the experience leech, just so that they can, you know, maximize the amount that he's able to get. Yeah, look at this. Even just TPing him off to the side, he wants level 25. He wants that extra point in the Geminate attack to be able to defend against this. But as a result, they're not going to be able to have relocate for this next fight.
There's the Wukongs. Just lay it down. Kill off the objectives. Stick around for too long. They are still worried about that swap potential. Flyby just teetering on the edge. See if he can find that jump. It's really all eyes on Avenge right now. His defensive save, his aggressive swap to maybe start the fight. And until then, I don't know. It's going to be rough.
And they're even... only now is the only time where they've actually gone away from the rest of the team. You have to sense that, yeah, God King, he's so scared. As soon as that Darkest Entrance gets popped, he's just like, oh, what do I do? Hopefully they're not coming for me. But he hits his level 25. The extra Geminate attack... I'm sure that's what they're putting all of their eggs into this basket. What is it? 800 gold away from the Daedalus? Maybe it's going to be the damage that they need, but again, you're still contesting into a cheese, Satanic, Aegis, BKBs. It's going to be very hard for RNG to come back into this one.
So, some silver linings, or something to mention, I don't even know if it's a silver lining. They have not been able to really burst through the Weaver, and I've been pretty surprised by that. It's mainly due to the itemization from God King. So maybe if they tunnel vision onto the other heroes and in a really choke point fight where they can't kind of disperse away from the Weaver's attacks and kind of kite him, maybe then God King can output enough damage to kill off two really valuable heroes, and then that could be how they can punish Elephant. Again, it still feels like you have to wait for the overcommitment, but that's really relying on Daedalus though, and he still doesn't have that. And they're coming.
Got a full team coming his way. You can't be stacking up either.
What a Lotus Orb timing.
Yang again.
What?
Yang's nuts, man.
Oh, I'm... It's nuts. A red panda, man. That's a scary spot to be as well. Not a lot of buybacks left. Swap out, Flyby. Who do they bring in? It's going to be Yang. They'll try and target down the Night Stalker. Yang, though, isn't dead. They'll overlap the Wukongs. There's no escape for the Leshrac. Now they'll target through the Weaver as well. With a chain lockdown, they'll bring him down. The burst is there this time, and the G's are dropped as Elephant will knock out RNG from the I-League Season 2.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Very
attack.
convincing. I thought, you know, you have this Venge, but you don't have the big aura lineup that you're able to play around, and you don't have the quite as aggressive supports. You know, they were setting themselves up defensively constantly, but it felt like around that 20 to 25 minute mark, they missed this key opening when the Night Stalker was just doing nothing for a long period of the game, and as soon as it felt like Yang was able to come online with that BKB, and then eventually at the 30 or so minute mark with the Nullifier, there was just nothing that you could do. Like the supports were rendered completely useless. They had good target prioritization. They split effectively in the team fight. Somnus got way too much out of that mid lane in my mind. And it was just a really solid overall performance, particularly by the cause of Elephant. But Yang, again, series MVP for mine quite easily.
It feels like we're really continuing to see the trend of these Night Stalkers, especially in China. I mean, they are just taking over games left, right, and center. The vision they provide, how you can find an avenue to start fights, and this immense amount of information that you can just provide the team you really just cannot calculate what it can bring to a team like Elephant and just a team in general. And like you were saying, I felt like RNG, maybe with that Aegis, they were hoping to get a little bit more out of it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, though. Elephant did an incredible job to split up the map and kind of really force this disconnect, and kind of just the cat and mouse game that took RNG just too long to be able to ball up, take these objectives, and in the end, Elephant were able to hit their item timings. And we saw it was on the edge for a little while, but it got to a stage where Elephant just felt like they could out-execute a lot of the fights. And man, also, Somnus went 14-1-9. What an incredible performance from the Tiny. A hero that we don't really see as often anymore, played as a core and just in general, but Somnus had a outstanding performance.
Yeah, and just have a look at the Team XP and net worth graphs. Just have a look at when it really starts to get out of hand for RNG. It's right on that 37-minute mark when you're getting a lot of these key neutral item drops. Most notably, I'd say the Spell Prism, right? Like, it just enables Yang to be this constant presence. You need to be playing together. That means that you're sapping away a lot of the experience on RNG. You're not able to push out multiple lanes, and it just causes constant fear in the enemy team. And the story gets told from there, just constantly going further and further in Elephant's favor. So if there's anything that highlights the importance of neutral items, especially really high value ones like the Spell Prism, like the Penta Edge Sword on someone like a Tiny, that's it right there.
Yeah, well, what a incredible series to outround the day as well for Elephant. They're able to knock out RNG, and while for Danog and I, we've been here through a lot of the I-League, all the group stages and a majority of the playoff games so far, but this is going to be it for us. It will be Cyclops taking the reins for the last 2 days, so from myself at least, and I'm sure you as well. I appreciate everyone tuning in and all the love, and if you guys have been enjoying, don't forget to, I guess, go ahead, follow the Twitter, Aries_HD, and just at Danog, and show some love and any room for improvement. But any closing comments, Danog?
No closing comments. I'm going to be in chat watching the rest of these games. It feels like it's the big how many is it? Big four remaining.
Yep. The big four.
Yeah, we've got IG with Elephant, Vici Gaming, as well as Asta still remaining, and only 2 days left, I believe. Tomorrow and the day after. So the grand final is going to be played on the same day as the lower bracket finals. So plenty of action to tide you over the weekend, and there's plenty of other tournaments to come. So keep a lookout. We'll be casting again shortly. Just maybe a different region. We'll have to let you wait and see.
Oh, 4 teams remain here for the InvitTV I-League Season 2. 4 TI teams as well. It's going to be some incredible series with 2 days remaining of the playoffs. We'll see who will be crowned the champions for the second season for the I-League, with a grand prize of 66,000 USD for first place. Until then, come back tomorrow for some more InvitTV I-League action.